What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our ACC football channel. All right, we have shown you the 2020 schedule for the Virginia Tech Hokies. Now we are going to give you a projected record based off of that schedule. This is not an official prediction from us. It's simply a projection based on their strength of schedule, based on their odds to win each game. Yes, there's a little bit of our opinion in this, but also we're trying to look at kind of what Vegas would do with each of these games. It's not a perfect system, and Virginia Tech is definitely a team that this doesn't work as well on, and I'll show you why in just a second. But this is the scale that we use. 99%, those are games that they should absolutely win. 20-plus point favorites. 80% games where they're going to be favored by double digits. 60% is a game where I think they're going to be favored by about touchdowns, 6, 7, 8 points, somewhere in there. And then you got your 50-50 games. Games that could really go either way, games where the spread's going to be closer to a field goal, maybe 4 or 5 points, but definitely not tough to call. Games that would pretty much be pick'ems or, again, a very low spread according to Vegas. So we only have one game that I put in the 99% category for Virginia Tech. That's North Alabama, not an FBS team. So, yeah, I think Virginia Tech rolls there on September 26th. That's their one easy win. And then a couple of games that you could probably put more in the category of 90 to 95%, but because of the areas that we're using here, 80% is what we're going to have to use for Liberty and Middle Tennessee. Both of those games, 80% and up, those are games that we're going to give them wins on when we do the projection. So it really doesn't matter if it's 80, 90, 99%. It's all going to be counted the same. But Liberty's not a bad team. I mean, yeah, Virginia Tech's going to be favored probably by 17 or so in that one. But it could be fairly close. Middle Tennessee is on the road. You never know. I don't, as of now, I really don't know a whole lot about Middle Tennessee. I haven't really looked at their team yet, but those are games that they should win. Again, they'll be double-digit favorites, probably close to 20. And then you got Georgia Tech, Boston College, and a road game against Duke. This is where it's really not a perfect system because those games will probably be better off putting in like a 70% range. But we don't have a 70% range, so they go at 60%. But yeah, Georgia Tech, Boston College, Duke. I think Virginia Tech will be favored by 7, 8, 9 points in those games. I may redo this next year and just put the 80% and up games all in one category and then have a 60% and a 70% category. I kind of thought about that, but I had already done so many teams, I'm not going to change it now. But yeah, Virginia Tech, I think, will be favored by a decent amount in all three of those games. It's tough to say what Georgia Tech and Boston College are going to look like. Same thing with Duke, but I do think Virginia Tech will be a clear favorite in those matchups. Then you have Penn State, a game that I think Virginia Tech will be an underdog. Really the only game where I think they're going to be an underdog, at least an underdog by more than 3 or 4 points. It's at home, and they've got a shot to win that game, absolutely. I know Penn State's coming into this year with a lot of hype, but I think Virginia Tech's got a shot. We're going to go 40% and say that, yeah, they'll be 3 or 4 point underdogs in this one, but I think, again, that they will have a shot. And then you've got these 50-50 games. You got North Carolina, Louisville, Pittsburgh, Miami, and Virginia. Virginia is one that I almost want to put in the 60% range because it's at home, and Virginia lost Bryce Perkins. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that program has changed. It wasn't just Bryce Perkins last season, and we'll keep that at 50-50. Plus, it's a rivalry game. And then Miami is at home, so that will be a game that Virginia Tech is definitely going to look to win. But then you have 3 road games. North Carolina, Louisville, and Pittsburgh, all going to be tough matchups here for the Hokies. We are going to say that if you split these games and you average everything out, the projected record for Virginia Tech will be about 8-4. So 8-4 for the Hokies in 2020. I think that's a little bit on the low end. I think, again, we're not doing our predictions yet. I think Virginia Tech will come out a little bit better than that when we do our predictions. Again, if you shift Georgia Tech, Boston College, Duke, shift those to the 70%, shift Virginia up to 55 or 60%, you could see how the numbers could change and get this closer to 9-3. Maybe even better than that. I think this team has a real shot to have a great year, a real shot to win the Coastal Division. It's going to be a really interesting race, but Virginia Tech returns more production than any other team in the ACC. So there is definitely reason to believe that this could be a top 15 type team, a team that could get to that ACC championship. But again, when you average the numbers out just based off of these odds, we are at 8-4 for Virginia Tech with 3 pretty tough road games in there. North Carolina, Pittsburgh, Louisville also on the road. So yeah, that's a pretty tough schedule. They avoid Clemson. That's the good news. And because of that, I think their projection could maybe wind up being a little better than 8-4. You upset Penn State, and all of a sudden this team could be looking at 10-2, maybe a shot at New Year's Six Bowl. And that game is probably going to determine whether they have a really, really good season or just a good season. But the ACC game is obviously going to determine whether or not they make it to the ACC Championship. What do you think about Virginia Tech? Let us know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned for more here on the SG1 Sports YouTube channel.